Today, we're walking and talking with Birmingham City head coach Chris Davies. After guiding Blues to promotion from League One, he's now preparing for the challenges of the Championship. In this conversation, we look back at last season, hear how Preseason is shaping up, and get insight into his vision for the campaign ahead. This is your chance to hear directly from the man leading Birmingham City into their next new and exciting chapter.
Hi, how
Chris,
you doing?
welcome back.
You okay?
Good to be back.
Absolutely. No, it's been really nice.
Should we head inside?
Absolutely.
So this is a pretty special corner over here.
Yes. Very interesting. I like looking at this stuff.
Lots of history, lots of heritage,
Yeah.
and now your stamp on it.
Yeah, beautiful. Fits in there just about right, doesn't it? Make sure we don't get a bigger one because it won't go in there. But very nice. No, it's lovely to see it there.
So welcome back.
Thank you.
How have the first few weeks of the off-season been treating you?
Yeah, they've been really good. Just time, had a few days away with the family, and other than that, it's just been time with my wife and my children, taking them to school, playing in the garden, all that kind of stuff. So it's been really nice just to decompress, just to relax a little bit. So many games and everything else. And then just to reflect on what was a great season. So really nice few weeks. Got another trip in a few days away, so really looking forward to it.
And now the dust has properly settled, what are your overarching emotions, feelings, reflections on the season?
Well, just looking back on it, it was just an amazing season. Had a little bit of time to sort of process it all, and it just it keeps getting better. You think about the start and some of the challenges we had and all the things that were getting thrown at the club and everything else. Yeah. And to go on and have the season that we had was just amazing. And then the points record that we got will last a long time, and to make that kind of impact is something special. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something special that could be remembered, and the players could be remembered for what they did last season. And we did it. So it's been really nice just to reflect on that and enjoy it, because in football you don't often get time to enjoy anything. You're on to the next thing. So really nice.
At what point did you know it was going to be special?
Probably as soon as I came to the club, I got a feeling. As soon as I came to the stadium, I knew the club was ambitious, the owners, that they were going to have a right go at League One and try to get promoted. But when I came to the stadium that day, I just got a feel for the place. I got a feel. I'll never forget walking out just by the dugouts, and the feeling I got was, I just saw it there and I thought, this is going to be good.
Well, Chris, you've already spoken about how special St Andrews at Knighthead Park is, but the players as well. You've had an exceptional group this season.
They're a very, very good group. I mean, we have, I always say we were lucky in the sense that we could almost clear the decks, and we brought in new players, and we brought in players with the right character. For me, there's ability, there's, skill and speed and everything, but there's character, there's heart, and there's the soul of a player. And I think we got a good group in, and yes, we've been winning games and that helps them bond together and build that togetherness, but we've got a professional group, a committed group. They love playing for the club, they've had success together. And for me, it's at the training ground every day is what matters the most. The attitude, how we train, how we behave, because that all transfers on a match day and it happens then. So, and we've got a great environment, and they've been first class. So they deserve a break. They do deserve a break. I said to them at the end, you're probably sick of my voice because I've been talking to you non-stop for the last 10 months. So they're having a break from that now, but they're going to hear it again pretty soon.
And was there any moments, any turning points where that individual character from maybe the squad or maybe from some individuals really shone through to you and you felt, right, this is a turning point and we are going to make history here?
Yeah, I think there was a few moments within it. I think there was the Wrexham game. There was a big build up to that game, and obviously with everything that they were doing, and we beat them, and we beat them well, and we were, the better team and everything. That gave me a good sense of belief moving forward. And then we had a few sticky patches early on. The one particular run that we went on, and we lost to Shrewsbury. Obviously, they were down the bottom, and it was a bit of a turning point for us, because just looking at it back then, I think we were around about third or fourth in the league. We had a couple of games in hand potentially, but we were third or fourth. And then I think after that game, I'd said to the players, right, if if we win every single game between now and Christmas, you can have Christmas Day off, which might not sound a lot, but it is in football when you don't get it. Yep. And famously, we did. We went on to do that. We won every single game, and the 23rd of December, we reached the summit, became the top of the league. And I think I'm right in saying we stayed there for the rest of the season. There might be in 1 week that we came to second, but pretty much that was us right there through to the end of the season. So I think that period around November, early December time was the test. It was the test, and you're going to have tests in a season. And I think that was a big one for us. We overcame it, and we never really looked back.
Chris, you said tests, of course, you've had plenty this season, but they come with big rewards. That final home game against Mansfield, the crowd soaking up the atmosphere, it must have been so special for you.
Well, it was a magical day. I mean, football is about moments, memories. It's, there's no destination as such. It's memories and trophies and winning things. That's what football is. And it doesn't matter what league it is, it's winning something. And that day is a day I'll never forget, because you could sense it. The feeling around the stadium, it was our day. That was our day to enjoy it as a club together. Sun was shining, picking a trophy up, fans singing the songs, and everyone happy. And that's what football can do. And you do all that work for those days, and it's worth it, because those days you remember forever. So for all the things you go through as a club, for the fans and everyone, nothing can take that day away from you. So that day was so special. Lifted the trophy up. And them pictures will live on forever.
You spoke about the character of the players earlier. I think your personal character has shone through a lot, and the fans can really relate to that. And the engagement you've had and that special relationship with the fans has been brilliant to see this season. How do you feel that you've coped with this, such a big step up to leading the team to this trophy, to so many magical moments? Personally, how have you found it?
I genuinely have loved it, and sometimes it's not easy, but I love that challenge as well. The fans, I always say thank you to them, because they welcomed me in very quickly as one of their own, quicker than they needed to in some ways. They gave me a chance, and that's what all I wanted was them to give me a chance, and they gave me that chance. And there's been a really nice bond that's been built up between us, and I'm hopefully represent to them what they want to see in a manager, and certainly this club represents what I want to see in a football club. Humble, hard-working football club, trying to do things the right way. That's who I am. I'm nothing more, I'm nothing less than that. That's who I am, and I've dedicated every day since I've been their manager to make them proud of their club, make them proud of their team, their city. So far we managed to do that, and that's something that's very special. So they've been amazing, home and away. I mean, I could just before walking out on away games, I can hear them singing, and the difference it makes that they probably don't quite understand, but they were like some away games were like home games. The amount of fans we had, the noise they were making, they put the home team to shame, really. And then in this stadium, it's horrible for opposition teams to come. That's what I love about it. It's hostile. It's not very nice for them, and we want to put pressure on them. And when teams come here, we want them to try and want to get out as quickly as possible. And that's what the fans do here. So it's been a great bond that's built up between us all, because we are the club, the fans, the players and the staff.
We've spoken to you a lot since your arrival, and you've always said how ready you were to take up this role, to take up your first position as a head coach. Is there anything that surprised you over the last 12 months?
Honestly, and not in an arrogant way, no, because what I've realised in these last few weeks is that the preparation I had to become a manager was really good. I'd worked with some top managers, successful managers, but really close. I'd had a lot of responsibility. I'd seen everything so close and at first hand, and prepared myself really, really well. So, and I would never have taken a job at a club like this if I didn't think I could serve them well. So I took my time. I always say to people, it took me basically 20 years to become the Birmingham City manager. But that allowed me to have a real foundation there that was stable enough if things were to get rocky. So, of course, I've learned things about how to manage players and football. You're always learning tactically and stuff. But not too much has surprised me, because I know how ruthless but rewarding the job can be. But of course, we're at the start of that journey, and there'll be plenty of learnings for me because I'm a young manager. I'm a first-time manager as such. Although I've had 60 games now, which is plenty, but I'm still obviously going to learn as I go along, and I'm looking forward to that.
So you've spoken about how special St Andrews here at Knighthead Park is. Should we go and have a bit more of a look around?
Let's do it.
Well, it's pretty special, isn't it? What a stadium.
Beautiful, yeah. First time I've been back in a few weeks, but yeah, as soon as I walked in today, I was immediately at home again. Beautiful stadium and really nice to be back.
Different angle though, the dugout's on that side, we're coming in from the opposite side.
Yeah, I say I'm never normally on this side, so it does look completely different looking from over here.
How important is it to have the break during the off-season, not just physically but mentally as well?
Yeah, I think it is very, very important because, you know, firstly speaking for the players, that, you know, I always say to them, you train like a world-class player and you rest like a world-class player, which is just as important sometimes, and how you recover mentally as well as physically is very important because it's a long, grueling season. We had some players that played a lot of games, you know, more than probably any in the country, so they need to rest. And from my point of view, I'm a manager, you're a decision maker basically, and you can get fatigue on that if you don't rest your brain and just recover and process everything. So it's important for me that I freshen up and relax and recover because, you know, I have to make a lot of decisions every day and be fresh enough and alert enough to do that. So it's a very important time.
We imagine a big season coming up, of course, a big summer coming up. What are your opinions on the current state of the squad?
Well, the squad's strong, of course, but we are going up a league. We had a great season. We did a lot of work last season. 17 players in, I think 19 players out, a lot. And but we've got work to do because we've gone up to a level which is a very, very tough league. Everybody knows that, and we obviously have to improve.
How heavily and closely are you involved with the recruitment?
Well, very involved. The good thing here is, and I've been at a lot of football clubs, but we've got really good lines of communication that comes from Tom Wagner and the board and Andrew Shanahan and obviously Tom Brady and involvement at that level, but going through to Craig Gardner and director of football, and then of course Joe Cornell, the head of recruitment. We're all in constant communication, which is the really important thing in football, because people can go off and do their own thing, but really clear communication helps with that. So I'm involved a lot. Obviously the work gets done, a lot of work gets done to identify players and analyse players and scout players and meet agents and everything, and I really come into the tail end of that process. But it's a collaborative approach, which is the best way to go.
You spoke earlier about the changes that had to be made last season to prepare for the season that's just gone. Will there be wholesale changes again, do you expect?
No, I don't think there'll be as many, but that we need to, I think with transfer windows, and that's ultimately what it is always about, can you come out of that window stronger than when you went into it? That's the aim in every single transfer window as a team, and obviously that needs to be even more significant, that improvement, because the fact is we're going up a league. A lot of moving parts to it, but what we need to make sure is that when that first whistle blows for that first game of the season, that we have a squad and a team that we believe can be successful in the Championship.
Take us behind the scenes. As fans, we love to speculate. So what does actually the process of going out and buying a player look like?
Well, I think the first part is identification, is looking at the player. That's the scout's job. You know, they analyse, there's video analysis, there's live scouting now. So it's a combination of the two. There's data that's involved in that, and they'll basically create shortlists, you know, and then they'll get shorter, and you'll almost have like a top 5 in a position that we're really focusing on. Contacts made with representatives and agents, and the ball is rolling, and then we start to home in on, you know, more closely on that player. Are they available? Are they affordable? And that all speeds up. But we have to make sure they fit what we do, how we play, you know, because we are specific. We want to be proactive, aggressive, and with the ball, make sure that we're players that can deal with the ball and we can dominate games. So we need to make sure the profile of that player is right. So there's a lot of people involved in that, through scouts and analysts and head of recruitment, all the way through obviously to Craig and myself and the coaching staff. So a very important process to be thorough because you bring in a player, you're signing an asset, basically. It's an important acquisition. So it's important to do all your due diligence, make sure that you're sure what you're bringing in is good. And we didn't make mistakes last year. In the old adage in football is it's not about necessarily getting the right players in, it's keeping the wrong players out because they can really affect you. So you have to be very measured in your approach.
And of course we know the leap between League One and the Championship, that's more pertinent this year. How difficult is it to find players that next level, that next calibre up?
It does become more challenging, and that then you go to the Premier League and it becomes that pool of players becomes smaller, the competition greater, and really difficult to find those players that are going to make the difference. We're going into a league here where I always say in the Championship, out of 24 teams, maybe 20, as much as 20 start with the ambition, believing that they can go to the Premier League that season via the playoffs at least. So a lot of shopping in the similar market for similar players. So it is competitive, and there's a lot of players out there to choose from, of course, as well. So not an easy market for us, but one that we'll navigate, I think, successfully like we did last summer.
Of course, though, a huge boost in now being how much of an exciting proposition it is to play at Birmingham City, and that hasn't always been the case, and certainly you imagine that'll be a big draw for some players.
Well, it is. I think last season we found that we were convincing players, selling them a project, selling them a vision. I was saying to them, look, come here in 10 months' time, we won't be in League One, we're going to be a Championship team, and you have to see and believe that, and this is where we're going to go. But I'm selling them that and trying to convince them, and now they're coming to us. A lot more are coming to us. We want to be part of this. We want to be part of this. So you've got to be a bit more picky now around who you engage with. But Birmingham is a club, as I said many times, it's going somewhere, and everybody wants to be at a club that's going somewhere. And it's an exciting time. People can feel it. A lot of people are talking about the club around the country and internationally as well. So people want to come here, and it's important now that we make sure that we pick the right ones.
And that will build the excitement of having a brilliant crack at the Championship next season.
It will, and it's going to be exciting. It's an adventure. It's, you're promoted team, you're going up to that next level. We have to go and give it everything, and hopefully we can make a good start. That's always important. Have a good pre-season, try and make a good start. But, we all know what the Championship's like. It's a super, super competitive league. What we need to make sure is that we are competitive as a start point. Number one, competitive at that level, and then can we grow from there and see where we can go.
So we're giving you a new look at the stadium, new perspective from this side of the stand. Shall we head down to where you're a bit more comfortable?
Definitely, let's do it.
Well, Chris, last season it was an uncharacteristically strong League One. There were so many big clubs battling it out for the top spot, of course, which and then, of course, now into the playoffs. What will the differences be in the Championship?
I think the Championship's going to be a strong division next year, absolutely. I think obviously you've always got the teams coming down from the Premier League. You've got other teams that have been there for a while, strong teams. So, yeah, we've got to attack next season like we did this last season. Give it everything, make sure that we're ready to go, we're fit, we're strong, we're focused. We develop a strong style of play that can be effective and really go after it. That's the idea. There's going to be a tough league, we know that, but we've got to really go after teams and really take the challenge on.
You mentioned, of course, the teams that come down. It's spoken about so much, parachute payments. Tom Wagner has said that he really wants to contend with the teams that are coming down and have that financial advantage. How much of a challenge do you see that as being?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great challenge for us to attack. Tom is an amazing owner for the club. He's so ambitious. You can see the plans and the aspirations that we've got as a football club, and it's due to Tom and the board for kind of bringing that to life. And in the Championship, I think the statistics are that typically out of the 3 teams that go up, 2 are parachute clubs. So that leaves 1 space left for 22 teams. So that's how competitive it, on average, it can be. So there's going to be teams coming down from the Premier League with that, but I'm sure Tom and the board are going to do everything they can to give us the resources we need to be competitive at this level that we are now. And like I say, hopefully we can do that.
They're very public owners. and they speak a lot about the desire to take the team all the way to the top and the Premier League. Does that add any pressure to you as, of course, coaching staff, but the players as well?
No, I love it. I think I wouldn't have come here if it wasn't like that. I wouldn't have come to the club if there wasn't that ambition, that excitement around what's possible. Underlying that, we all know clearly that the last time the club were in the Championship, they went down. So we know the challenges that are there. But I love the ambition. That's why there's a feeling that the club's going somewhere. I've said it many times that with these owners, the club will get there, and that's why I wanted to come. I wanted to be the guy that did it. But of course, naturally, it's step by step. We've got something strong now. We've got a togetherness, we've got an identity, and we've got a vision. We've got a path to follow, and we need to stay together and stay on that path, and we will be successful. But of course, the next step for us is get into this league now. Let's go and be competitive and see where we can go.
Speaking about togetherness, no better place to do it. Unbeaten at home in the league last season, brilliant crowds out into support. You've already mentioned, of course, the support on the road as well. Just how vital will that be next season as well?
Well, it will be. This stadium is amazing. On a match day, you walk in here, I've always said it's difficult for the opposition. That's what I love about this place. They don't want to be here, and when we put pressure on them on the pitch and off the pitch, it can really start to suffocate them. So this place is going to be huge. We want that atmosphere, we want that energy. We have to, as I always say to the player, you deliver that to the fans, to the stadium with the way you play on the pitch, and then that generates that. But that togetherness, and if we can do that, it will be really hostile for the opposition. And away from home, I've got no doubt that every single ticket that's available will be sold. Everywhere we go, they'll be there supporting us. And we've got to make sure that we do them proud.
Everyone speaks about momentum so much that it's almost become a bit of a cliche. How easy is it to carry momentum from this season into, of course, such a big new challenge?
Yeah, it's an important thing. We have got it. It's hard to get and easy to lose. So you've got to hold on to it and make sure that you're still trying to develop your game, improve, stay hungry, because you're going to need all those ingredients to go again. Ultimately, last season has gone. At the moment, we're still enjoying it and reflecting on it, but it's gone. And it's about a new challenge, a new season. So we have to, all them ingredients that allowed us to be successful, we need them again this season for the next challenge.
And of course, before that, pre-season, you'll be off to Portugal, where hopefully it's a bit sunnier than this. What are your plans for pre-season, and how important will it be to get off on the right foot?
Yeah, pre-season for me is a very important time. I approached it last year. When I came, pre-season was like part of the season for me. I wanted to make a really strong start in pre-season with the style of play, the training, everything that I was trying to do. I really wanted to impose that. So we're going to get training. We've got a 6.5, 7 week pre-season, which is plenty of time, the perfect time for me to get fit, plenty of rest, but then we work hard for those 6, 7 weeks, and we're off to Portugal, which will be great. Fantastic training camp that we've got. We've identified, we've done the planning for a few months ago for that. We've got a game out there. We've got lots of good training sessions that will give us time to bond, come together and start really planning our vision for the season. And then it's just fitness, making sure I want us to be the fittest team. I always do in the league. I don't see any reason why we can't chase that objective as well. So real hard training, push the boys, never pleasant in pre-season, but these days as a player you need a pre-season to get your kind of body ready for it. That's the way football is now. So a lot of them come back in reasonable shape anyway, but they know it's going to be hard training. I won't disappoint them with that, and we need to make sure that we start strong.
Chris, it's become so evident over the time that we've been exploring the stadium that you cannot wait to get started in the Championship. Are you ready? Are you ready to go?
Absolutely. I think a few more weeks rest for myself and the players and the staff to continue to recover, but as soon as we get back in a few weeks, we'll be absolutely ready to go and attack this next season again.
Feels very empty here at the moment, but one message for the fans before we head into pre-season.
Well, from the fans, it would be a thank you for the great support from last season that we had and that journey that we went on, because it was pretty special and memorable, and look forward to seeing them when it all comes around and starts again.
And we're looking forward to seeing you on the other side of the stadium in the dugout when you're back for pre-season in July. Best of luck.
Thank you.